Hi everyone! I just realized I forgot to put the screws back into the fan on the Mark III where I attached the RAM shield previously, and I tried to grab M3x10s, but these are not M3x10s, so had to pull those back out. So, welcome everyone! Today we are going to take a look at the Fiberpunk Node and Fiberpunk Sentry, and these are really interesting devices. So basically the idea is you want some way to create network connectivity for a printer. This is just a dumb printer with an SD card, in best case, you plug USB in. And there are some ways you can do that. The most popular, obviously, doing Octoprint on a Raspberry Pi. Excuse me. Or we saw in the last video with the Quindly system, where they had their own system running on a Rock Pi. Those sort of real-time heavy systems where you have a software running on the Raspberry Pi that streams the G-code line by line via USB, via that serial port to the printer. These things that we're going to unbox today are incredibly simple devices. So these don't have a Linux system. These don't have any sort of high-end quad-core processor on them. These are just an ESP32, which is like a $1 microcontroller. And the way, if I understand it correctly, these work is by faking an SD card to the printer. So basically you put in like a dongle instead of the physical SD card into your machine. And yes, you also plug them in through USB, but no G-code gets sent through that USB except for the start-stop job command. Basically, it emulates files on a fake SD card. It tells the printer, hey, print that file. And that eliminates the bottleneck of having to stream through USB. That eliminates what Octoprint does is by streaming G-code through the USB onto the SD card first and then telling the printer to do that. It's a nice system if it works as intended. So let's have a quick look at what the offerings look like. We are going to, wrong mouse, we are going to unbox I think everything. I think we've got the full set. I believe there are two of the Creality Enders in here, two of the Mark III S Prusa editions. I don't know if there's much of a difference between these two. It might just be the full-size SD card versus the trans-flash micro SD size. And also the Sentry. I don't know how much of that we're going to see today because I don't know if we need to set up additional software for that. But this is basically a camera that does spaghetti detection on, I don't know if AI Thinker, okay. So it might run on the chip itself. I don't actually know, but we do have Fiberpunk in chat. I'm sure if you guys have any sort of technical questions, behind the scenes stuff, you can ask them. Also, this is I should actually look at the correct screen and not at the recording that because that has less lag. This actually is running an open source firmware. So that is one of the selling points basically. So that's the CAD files, but yeah, Beam is basically the software that runs on the nodes on the printer controllers. Sentry API. Octoprint beam controller, so you can control these through Octoprint, I believe. So the system looks like it is quite complete for being relatively early in its lifetime so far. So that is looking pretty good. Let's dive in. Actually, well, actually, first let me open up a quick. This bottle opener though, my mom got this. She was like, oh, this was the cheapest one they had, but this one's garbage. Don't call it Spezi. I don't know if you guys were following, but there's a legal debate between two German breweries basically over who can call their Coke and orange lemonade mix Spezi. So these guys were smart, they're just calling it Cola mix. So, cheers. Good stuff though. Traditional, I don't know how traditionally Bavarian it is, but that's like the standard drink we have here. Ooh, boxes. Made in China seal. So that is, Yeah, these are fairly early, like I said, so these don't exactly have a lot of labeling on them. This one says Node E, so I don't know if that is some, nope, there. Some code for Node Ender. This one's unlabeled. We're just going to open all of these up and see what we got. So this one has the big FCC CE sticker, no Yukja yet. Yeah, like I said, very early on still, but I've been told that these should work. Now, one kind of disclaimer, one drawback you're going to have versus running a full Octoprint is these are Wi-Fi only. So I like to have everything wired in where I can, simply because I like the... This one's open already, cool. Simply because I like the reliability of having wired Ethernet. But because these are ESP32 based, Wi-Fi actually turns out is a lot cheaper to implement than going for physical Ethernet, because you need to transducer the... Is it a transducer, transformer, the Ethernet isolator basically, which is a lot of copper, a lot of weight, and Wi-Fi literally is just a squiggly line on the PCB, and there you go. So these are 6 kits, yep. So these are 2 of the cameras, 2 of these Sentry kits. Each one of these comes with a power supply, so these are, I believe, standard 1 amp, no, 2 amp. Oh, these are light for a 2 amp. 2 amp power supplies, USB. You get a USB-A to USB-C cable. That is nice to see that they are using all USB-C. That was one of the first things that I saw here. And you get another cable, you get another micro USB. Ha! So this possibly is an Ender kit then? No, this one's unlabeled. We are going to find out. No, this is Node for Prusa. Okay. Node for Prusa. Node for Prusa. That is the Sentry. Node for Ender 3 V1 V2. So I believe that should work with the Ender 3 V2 behind me. And what is the difference between these? You get the same USB-C cable, you get the same micro USB cable, and then the Sentry. Oh, you don't get. No, the OLED is built in. Okay. Okay, I see. So the difference between the Ender kit and the Prusa kit is this. A microSD to SD card adapter where you slot in your fake trans flash, your fake microSD card. And I don't want to tear the really thin ribbon cable here. Where you slot your fake microSD into, and suddenly it becomes a full-size SD card. So this goes into the printer. This, as I believe, emulates a real SD card. There is another SD card, I believe, somewhere that goes into the, yeah, right here, that goes into the Node. But yeah, Fiberpunk, okay, different cables and different firmware, okay. So there seems to be a bit more to these than the included adapter. These look fairly similar. I don't think there would be much need of a different, hardware in these. But yeah, so let's not confuse these. This is the Ender one. This is the Prusa one. There are a couple extension headers up front. So let's give a quick walk around. This looks like a button. That is a button on the back. You have the USB host USB host where you connect your printer to. You have the USB-C on the side, which is your power in. Nothing on the front. A slot on the side. I don't know what that is for. Looks like a microphone slot, but these don't have a microphone. And then on the front you have a small, tiny OLED. This thing doesn't need to display much information because you still have the screen on the printer itself. And yeah, 3 expansion headers. And let me pull up on the Node website here real quick what those are for. Let's go to the Prusa one because that's the one we're going to be using. So headers. Oh, come on. I saw the explanation for what the headers are. Let's check the quick start guide. So that is going to be, there we go. There's the explanation. So this is a UART, so a serial port. I guess just an extra one, I2C, and a couple spare GPIOs because, really the ESP32 is a pretty capable chip. I mean, it has lots and lots of pins. So, hey, why not just break those out? And like I said, the firmware running on this is already published on GitHub. So this is already there, so you can go in, modify this, add your own features. Also, one of the really cool things that I saw, I don't know, no, it's on GitHub. So that's going to be the interface. Hopefully, if everything goes right, we're going to see that today as well. One really cool thing I saw has an API. It has an API already built in with full documentation. It's just, regular HTTP get and post calls basically you do. Really simple stuff. I don't know if this is like straight up supported in prusa slicer, for example, where you just, with Octoprint, you just enter that IP address and the key for that device, and you can push files directly to it. I don't know if that is supported yet. I don't think so, but you can open the spare one's case up. Okay, but yeah, it's cool to see that. And of course, if you want to write your own stuff, or if Prusa at some point decide to include it with Prusa Slicer, or if somebody adds a pull request to their Prusa Slicer repo, then these might get supported with that. But like I said, there is also a web interface that you're going to be able to use. Yeah, there's a little preview of what that screen's going to look like. It's just going to show you the IP address, basically. And yeah, that is the direct web UI. You can also install I don't know how to call it, like a server main management software onto a full computer and use that like as a central management unit. And yeah, these also support some sort of print farm functionality, though I don't know what how that looks like, whether that is all through Nexus. Nexus is the host software as far as I understand. But yeah, there's a preview of the spaghetti detection that happens, but this is on Nexus, so on the host. Is a USB-C to B cable for the Mark III? There is not. So you get a micro USB cable, so that is the wrong cable that they're including. This one is fairly useless for the Mark III. Maybe Fiberpunk, this is something you should look into because the Mark III has a B cable, but thankfully we do have plenty of these around here. I'll just grab this one. This one is from the Quinley kit, so we will need the USB-B cable. All right. I also believe we do need a micro SD just to store config on this guy. No, hold on, this doesn't have any storage. The ESP32 does not have enough storage to store G-code, so okay, yeah, the micro SD card in here would actually be used to store G-code in addition to configs. So there is the micro SD card from the Ender 3v2. This is supposedly a SanDisk Ultra 8 gig. It should be fine, I think. Right. Did I miss anything in chat? No. Yeah. Daniel's complaining about the eduroam Wi-Fi. Thankfully, I do have some Wi-Fi set up just for, or a complete separate Wi-Fi just for like IoT stuff. So that includes these sort of devices and any sketchy stuff that I might run. Also this computer that you're seeing right now, that you're seeing screen capture, that is in that same network. So I can connect this thing to this Wi-Fi and have access to this without it interfering with anything else. So nope, wrong mouse again. Let's go ahead and start running through the tutorial. Let's get this going. That was a Black Mirror episode, right? Okay, what's in the box? We have everything plus a microSD adapter. 5-volt charging. Please use this one instead of the existing ones. Yeah, so what they're saying actually at some point about power. Okay, at some point they're saying, hey, don't use your USB-C power delivery supply because it might fry the node. Though honestly, power delivery should be safe. There is, of course, a USB-C connector on here. So theoretically, if this thing requested 20 volts at 5 amps or however much power delivery can supply, it would fry it probably, but by default, I think power delivery is just 5 volts at some amperage anyway. So this should be good with any solid power supply. All right, what's in the box? A Node module Type-C, we saw that. Yeah, so inside that is the OLED screen that you see in the front. We have the Node Pro, I believe. So by default, you just get the bare components, the bare PCB. That's what that looks like. The little OLED screen, and then of course the trans flash. It keeps saying TF adapter. I think at some point it was just like, hey, we're gonna call these microSDs TF. They used to be called TF. Well, the form factor used to be called TF, trans flash, but they're not anymore. So yeah, and then with the Node Pro, for $3 more, you actually get the injection molded case, which is not in any of the photos, but that is what we got. We do have the nice, where is it? There you go, we do have the nice plastic case already enclosed around it. But of course you can print your own and attach it to the printer in some convenient place. And this doesn't have any mounting features to it, so, you know, we're gonna have to find a spot where it's not crashing into anything. Isn't TF the generic version? Well, I think they're like slightly different standards even. Make sure to use the Node Prusa user guide. Okay. No quick start guide. That is still the one for Prusa or for the Ender. Yeah, that's the same one. So it's the same one's linked. I'm just gonna give Fiberpunk mod rights here so you guys can share links. God, if my mouse wasn't. There you go. Fiberpunk, if you guys could just post the Prusa instructions here real quick, because it's all just the it's the same instructions link. It's the same exact URL on both of the Prusas, and apparently these are the Ender instructions. There we go. Thank you. God, how do I get this to? Wrong computer. Okay. So I guess for the instructions, we're just gonna have to screen capture the other computer real quick. There we go. Hi. Ooh. So this is the Node tutorial for Prusa Mark 3S. Printing case, shell. There we go. Okay, now we have the adapter. Come on. God, this mouse is running out of battery. And it is not happy. Yep, it's the same hardware tools you need. MicroSD TF, best to be name brand. So we have the one out of the in the 3v2, 8 gig. SanDisk should be all right. A card reader, I will need to grab one of those. I did grab a USB hub in my infinite wiseness, but no wisdom, but no reader for that. M4 hex key, utility knife, needle nose pliers. I hope we won't need those. So no card included. Please only use FAT32. So let's format the card. Printing the no case, so you can get a. Oh, this looks like it's completely replacing the screen mount. That's pretty interesting. Can case. Between node and the printer, USB cable. Okay, we're not going to do the assembly because we don't have that case, but it's basically plug it in. Okay, and then we're going to configure Wi-Fi. So I'm going to grab a, come on mouse, I'm going to grab a card reader real quick. And I will be right back with you. So thankfully it is a bit quieter right now. It is just past 6 p.m. here, but all day today we were getting a lot of construction noise because they are building a new road just basically behind the studio. So that was not very convenient for recording any sort of video. So thankfully that's done, or at least that's done for the day. But it's going to be something I'll have to work around for the next couple of weeks, and I've already been struggling with that for the past couple of weeks. Thankfully, when streaming for a US heavy audience, that isn't too much of an issue because you guys are awake at times when I'm already on the couch, and everyone else is not working anymore. So micro SD, nope, other way around. There we go. So, okay. I'll just get my streaming stuff sorted. So screen cap, but not on here, but on here. Event normal. Oh, I use this in the dash cam tool. Cool. Guess I'm formatting you. FAT32, and this is going to be the node. Quick format should be fine. Complete. Okay. So I'm just going to stay on this computer because I believe the instructions are the same up until slice the settings, and then we can switch back. Configure Wi-Fi settings. So can easily be set up by storing Wi-Fi settings in a text file at the root directory of the micro SD card. Node will load the configuration file and connect with the latest settings. Okay. So that is what we're going to need. Store. And we're going to copy you to here. And then, do I have Notepad++ installed? I don't. Okay. But thankfully, the Windows 11 editor is not that bad. So, Wi-Fi name, password, and device name is Node1. So, I hope this device name is actually going to be the host name, which makes it really easy to get to your device if you have a network that has DHCP enabled. So if you just remember the IP address and your router, or is it the router? I guess whatever does the DHCP for you gives it a different IP address, you're not going to find it anymore. And I've recently had that problem at home where I reset our router, and all of a sudden, like all the wireless, the Wi-Fi plugs and stuff were all gone because I was addressing them with the IP address. Switch to host names, all better. So Node 1, I guess that's going to be all right. So basically, once this is done, we're going to get to it by doing HTTP node 1. There you go, and that should bring up the configured node if this is the host name. I'm going to switch away from this view real quick, and I shall enter my Wi-Fi details. Unless there is something, last line ends with a 0, just to make sure that we're doing this correctly. Yeah, so there is a final 0 line. After each colon, do not have a space to separate text. Yep. Okay, that should be good. So I'm going to config this real quick. I'm going to have you guys look away. If I remember what my Wi-Fi is actually called. What would be cool here, and I think this is doable on ESP32, is to have like a, if this isn't configured, or an assistant basically, where if you don't have any Wi-Fi configured, it creates its own Wi-Fi, and then you can connect to that Wi-Fi and just set it up once. It's the same thing that a lot of like ESP32 based devices do. So that, and then I'm gonna try and do my password here. So if anyone was able to reconstruct that password from my strokes here, good on you. Have at it. Save. Close. Probably it's going to show the Wi-Fi name anyway. And just to make sure, we're going to properly eject Node. There we go. And we can, oh, it's right here. We can plop this into our node. So where's the micro SD? Right there. So this is a tight slot, which I like. I like my slots tight because on something like an Ender 3 or some of the, which of those printers was it? Where you had a micro SD slot and it was so loose that you could like plop it right past the slot and just lose it inside the screen enclosure basically. This has no way of, oh, this goes in deep. There we go. Yeah, you have no way of losing this. Okay. Oh, should we pull the screen protector here, the shipping protector? If we can even get it off. There's like a little double tab here. I'm gonna get some tweezers. I think there's some over here. Oh no, these tweezers are bad. No, it's even worse. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be able to get this film off. Maybe. There's hope. Yes. Fiberpunk, please. Like, either make this peelable or peel it off before we put the case on it. Okay, that is so much better. That's such a clean screen now. So, power. We need power for this. Let's see how long this USB cable is. So I don't know what it is, but it always seems like there's like one standard of USB cable that you get. So back in the USB-B, so in the Chonka Boy days, with these, it was always the cables with like the blue transparent plastic and the visible shielding inside. With USB-C, you always get the purple ones. I've seen these so often. White and purple, what is up with that? Is that like some manufacturer that sells only white and purple USB cables? Micro USB, I don't think there was like one of those standards, but these, I like them. I like them. It's just weird that they're like all the same. This guy's pretty short, so I'm gonna grab an extension cord. Extendinator. That is what a Shuko extension cord looks like for those of you from a different country. Has the, unprotected, touchable, protective earth ground pins, and then, this is optional, but these are the live and neutral. Doesn't matter which way around. I didn't realize, but that's going to be a problem. This, that's not going to fit. And I don't have any adapters here. I thought these were going to be the correct plugs, but we do have. You know what? Let's just skip the extension cords. Let's just use one of these. Probably the easiest. All right, so we do connect this to the printer before we power it up, right? SD card is in. Power on. No status, connects, control. Yeah, we plug this into the printer, I think. Yeah, there we go. Find a USB data cable based on your printer's USB connection. Insert, confirming firmware version once it's powered up. So let's get these boxes slightly out of the way. entire team of Fiberpunk is watching. There's so much pressure on me. Okay, so this guy gets plugged in. This gets plugged into the node on the back. Then you come out of the printer, and we use the adapter. And then this goes in here like that. Okay, so the printer has already detected something that it thinks is an SD card. Oh, that is hard to read, sorry about that. But theoretically, I hope this power bank works, it should. Theoretically, you plug in, there you go. It's doing something. I'm gonna have to sticky tape this to someplace at some point. Where's my zoom? There's my zoom. Okay, and that looks like it's connected. That is that. So it's readable with bare eyes, but it is such a small font. Wow. So that's let me just do the boot process again. And the cool thing about this is, this is one of the selling points. Because it's not a full Linux system and it's not a Raspberry Pi or anything, you don't need to power this off with like a shutdown procedure or anything. You're not ruining anything by just yanking the power. So you can power this on, power it off as often as you want. You're not going to eventually break the system, which is one of the reasons why I like Octoprint, but if it's nicely set up on one printer, it's okay. But I have so many printers and I have to shut it down uncleanly so often, it becomes a problem. Here, I think this should be, this will be much more robust. So there's our IP address. .5 is my subnet for the IoT stuff, and then 171 is the IP address. So it is connected. Let me just set this down. That ribbon cable should be fine-ish, yeah. Mobile prusa powered by Anker. Well, the thing is, I did a carry-on printer or a mobile printer at some point, and that did require quite a bit of power just to keep running for 2 or 3 hours. So, yeah, I don't think this battery bank is going to give me too much success when it comes to actually powering the printer for any significant amount of time. So let's see if that worked, whether the host name actually works. It doesn't seem to. Let's go 1 and 2.5 and then 171. Refuse to connect. Ooh. No, that's the wrong button. No, I don't need the slicer yet. So it's port 88. Interesting. Let's try that. There we go. That's interesting that it's not using standard port 80. 80 is the standard port for just the web interface sort of stuff. But yeah, that looks like it's working. It's not reading temperatures yet. So we're going to go through I just clicked something and I was like, huh, maybe this does something. But we're just going to continue on through the instructions, and I'm going to check, version first. So we go to version. So this is 22.5.9. Where's our instructions? Check the latest firmware version, startup guide. Latest firmware is 22.4.1, and we have 22.5.9. Okay, so we are more recent than the latest version. That's good. Oh yeah, Node 188. Let's actually try that real quick. Ah, okay, that works. That does work. So it's just the thing that you need port 88. Okay, so the hostname does work. That is the hostname that we configured on the microSD card. That's cool. So firmware update, we've got a more recent version than what the website says. So that's good. IP address or using the hostname, very good. Received before March 22, you need to flash the new firmware. We've already got the newest one. So, okay, so this is one of the limitations of using an ESP32, because the ESP32, like I said, it is not a very powerful chip. It is an amazing chip. It does stuff really well, but it is still a fairly limited microcontroller. It's about the power of like a Nintendo DS, I think, roughly, minus the GPU. But actually, I think a bit more. So yeah, less than 5 web pages terminals at the same time. So that is 5 connections at the same time. If you do more than that, I don't know if it crashes or anything, or it just refuses to connect. But yeah, 5 connections at the same time. I think that should be plenty. You can try clicking the home button in the web page to control actions such as printer reset. Okay, so let's try the home button. Is that the home button they mean? It is not. Let's stick to one of these. So that does not seem like it's doing anything yet. Can you double check the cable? So the cable is going from there to there. So it is directly connected from the node to the printer in the back here. And this cable I know works. Just do a printer reset here and see if I can reset stuff in order and get it to connect. So that was after a printer reset. Let's do a node reset by unplugging it and replugging it. Ah yeah, it does say the firmware version on boot up as well. Connection Wi-Fi, and the thing is, typically I think the printer should power cycle essentially as you connect to it through serial, and it's not doing that. So let's just double check here, reload the page. Reload the page. Reload the page. Took too long to respond. Oh. So we still have the Wi-Fi ready message on the node itself. Let's actually try the IP address directly. And that also doesn't seem to respond. One more power cycle. DS is 67 and 33. I thought it was much more. I thought it was more than that. Yeah. Yeah, it's always amazing like how little power Nintendo consoles get away with. Right, yeah, 67, 33 megahertz. The 33 megahertz CPU, I believe, was actually identical to the one in the Game Boy Advanced. And then in the DS, they just used that for audio, while in the Advanced, it drove the entire thing. I don't know, crazy stuff. But yeah, ESP32 dual-core system, 240 megahertz cores, though limited architecture, of course. But yeah, it's amazing how much performance you can get these days. Come on, connect. Why are you not connecting anymore? So we are connected on the on the node 171. Wi-Fi is ready, it's saying right there. But we can't actually get to it. Let's try a quick ping. 1 and 2, 168, nope, 5.171. I don't know if it even responds to a ping. Let's see if we can get the hostname resolved. Yeah, so that does resolve. Not sure if it responds to a ping, but that's interesting. That is interesting. So Polaris, the way that the node is supposed to work is, I think somebody already explained it in chat. This thing is emulating an SD card for the printer. So we have a fake SD card. So this is just the PCB. We have a fake SD card that is like being emulated by the node that basically supplies your print files through the proper SDIO connection instead of streaming it through USB. It is connected through USB to the printer. So that is that cable there. But this cable does not stream G-code line by line. This cable only streams, the node is back. Does not like the, that's weird, does not like the SD card plugged in. This cable is not streaming the G-code line by line as Octoprint would do it, but this is just streaming the commands to the printer like, hey, print file, I don't know, dog001 from SD card. And then the printer looks for that file dog001 on the SD card, and because the SD card is also connected to the node can say, hey, here is file dog001, and basically this is where your G-code goes through, or your actual print file goes through, because this is a much higher speed connection than this USB to serial connection. So yeah, could it be the SD adapter? Well, this is the one that was included. I can grab a different one. But we do have the web interface loaded up, but it is still not connecting to the printer at all. Let's try home again, and home does not do anything. And it is not connecting to the printer. Let me try a couple of things just to rule stuff out. So theoretically, for homing and for temperature settings, we should not need the SD adapter. So this should not be needed. I should get these boxes out of the way. The SD adapter should not be needed to get the printer to connect through USB, because we're just connecting through USB. So let's power cycle it again and make sure we're only connecting through the USB cable and we don't have like a ground loop or anything. It might also be the power bank. I don't know. But I can grab actually I do have a power supply here. This is a 1.8 amp LG. That should be okay too. The printer thinks it has an SD card. Well, that shouldn't matter much. I can try the different USB power supply just in case like the power bank does something fishy where the power isn't clean. I don't know. It can happen. So we are loading up. So this is a current version. Let's try homing. And it's not homing. Okay, so it wasn't the USB, the SD card. Let's try a different USB cable if I can find one. Oh God. Do I have more of these? Okay, this might be tricky. I've got plenty of USB-C and USB micros, but I don't know if I have another USB-B. That's a micro, because I don't, that's the one box that I don't have at the studio yet. I'll just scour this for USB cables. Maybe over in the office there might be something. Nope. Okay, 1 second as I run over to the office. If anyone sees like a cable lingering in the background, just let me know. And I can grab that. I've got a USB 3 cable, but that's no good. Do I have anything that is plugged in with USB-B? The printer is Ethernet. Anything on this computer that uses USB-B? No. Nothing using USB-B. Let me try the cable on a, that's a USB-C. I mean, USB is cool until it's not. I can try to connect through that cable with a laptop or something. Or we can also try a different power supply just to make sure that that's not causing any weird incompatibilities. Where is... No, don't have a spare cable. Let's try power. Animation Creations, I do have a 2D printer, but that is, like I said, that is connected through Ethernet. So that's not using USB at all. Is there anything USB down here? Oh, I found one. Okay. So let's try the Rode NT-USB. Thankfully, that is USB-A, and I can grab that in a second. So let's try the... Let me get these boxes out of the way. So let's try the LG power supply. And I think I have more power supplies if you need to try more. Like this one, this is a Lenovo 2 amp. Let's try that. That has more amps rated. Though the ESP really shouldn't need much power. It is, I know the ESP is somewhat sensitive to the quality of power delivered, but it shouldn't need much power like something like the Raspberry Pi 4, where 2 amps definitely is not going to be enough. So we are powering the Node from the Lenovo 2 amp power supply. And it looks like it is connecting. Nope, we don't want you to zoom in. So we are back at 171. I think the printer did not reset. Nope. Let's give a refresh here, and that is loaded. microSD type 0. It does not respond to home connections. Animation Creation, so it's the power banks typically they also have a switch mode power supply in there, so a DC-DC converter. And it switches just like one of these, and often these are not very clean, but just because they're cheap for the most part. Shouldn't really matter. AC-DC should not be a problem. Okay, no connection to the printer. What do we do if this doesn't connect? If this doesn't connect, I think we're going to have to move over to the Ender and try that. But we are flexible there. So let's do as Fiberpunk suggests, let's do a full power cycle on the printer. Maybe try a slower baud rate. Well, if I could control that, I would, but I can't. So I'm going to plug this in again. Printer's not doing anything. Power cycle the Node. It's good that you can power cycle these and it boots quickly. With the Quinley, when I tried it out, I had to power cycle that as well. But that took like 3 minutes to boot up. This is ready within like 15 seconds. There we go, and it's back. So, nope. Screen cap, and let's give it a refresh. And we're back at the it's not loading stage. There's an API URL you can use to set baud rates. Okay. cable is out. The cable is not out. Okay, now we're not booting up again. While that loads up, I'm going to grab the other USB cable from my microphone, and I'm hoping this is not going to break the audio setup within OSB. OBS? OBS. OSB is something else. No, we're not doing oriented strand board today. So, different USB cable, freshly out of use. It's a bit of a longer one. Unplug, unplug. Replug and replug. So that is a bit of a tighter fit, though again it did work. That cable did work previously. Printer is power cycled, and I'm going to power cycle the node as well. So, I mean, what's always a bit of a challenge with these sort of setups is creating a ground loop, essentially. So, we'd have a situation where both this guy gets ground through USB, so this is grounded, and then this connects somewhere else, and then the printer connects to that, and that also carries ground. So now you have a ground connection through the actual power supply cable, or through the power cord, and through USB. And with audio setups, like quite often you just you introduce hum and other noises and chirps, and that is also something that can, you know, upset a USB or a serial or an SDIO connection. I can try plugging the printer into this power strip, but honestly, this is connected to the same power strip underneath. So like, yeah. Let's see what the web interface does. Okay, we are loading up. How do I check the baud rate? So there's nothing on here, and we're still not getting any readings as far as temperature goes. If I press home all, it doesn't do anything. You have no ground on the USB power plug? True, Daniel, that is a good point. So yeah, that's why quite often you have fully insulated and ungrounded power supplies. How do I check baud rate? Is there reset ESP? Okay, so that's over here. Set SPI. Okay, so these are not the same commands that I'm seeing. Let's just double check that this is not a Prusa specific thing. Okay, so something that maybe we should check. Where's my OBS? This is confusing because I don't have the right link. So something that we should check. Nope, and now it's the wrong keyboard. USB jumper caps. Prusa's motherboard needs Node's USB host to power it. So it is getting power through the built-in power supply, but check that the jumper cap has been installed at the position shown on the right. So may already have this jumper factory installed. I'm just going to check this out in the node box here. And let's jump over back to OBS. So there are 4 Phillips 1 screws in the back. And I'm going to try and find a Phillips screwdriver here. Yeah, this studio and workshop and everything is still in so much flux. I keep searching for tools and I can't find them. I have everything here, I know, but it's like, it's not where I'm looking for it. And so that's bits at least. I think I also have a Bosch Go somewhere. Yeah, that's going to suffice. That's going to do the job. And thankfully this thing is charged. Jochen, yeah, so the firmware running on Prusa is completely stock. In fact, I did update it to the newest Prusa firmware when I installed the Quinley kit just a couple of weeks ago. So it's running relatively recent firmware, like possibly even the most recent one if stuff hasn't changed too much over the last 4 weeks. Yeah, it's a lot of torque. And I think, well, the OLED screen is mounted inside here. So how do we get this out without snapping the cable? So it feels like we can push the cable in just a bit, but the USB-C plug is actually inside the case or recessed into the case. I'm going to need a flathead. Well, I can just use a bit here. And I think if you go here, either we bend this out, nope, or we just lift on the other side. And then carefully pull the ribbon cable through. Huh. So there is that jumper that the manual talked about, and there's just no jumper there. So that right here, that should be that jumper. And I'm not seeing one. I'm seeing what looks like a diode next to it. So that might have made those instructions redundant, but I wonder if that is the problem. Okay. So Fiberpunk guys, if you could confirm that that's not a problem, that this jumper is missing, or that there's nothing soldered there, and that would be great. Otherwise, baud rate, there's no baud rate for me to set unless I should do that through the API. The Prusa screen, or the Prusa's firmware, I don't think lets you set the baud rate it's expecting. At least I don't think I've ever seen it unless it's something that's been added. Nah. So this would be something that would be set on the node. Jumper is no longer there on newer versions. Okay. Okay, so let's put this one aside for now and try the second Prusa version, and if that one doesn't connect either, then we can swap to the Ender versions. Because thankfully we do have quite a bit of hardware here to pick from. So this setup is going to stay as is. We're going to use the Lenovo power adapter, just because it's already here. Yeah. We're going to use this long USB cable. Shouldn't make a difference. But yeah, that's that. That is, what are you? You are the second Prusa kit. Okay. So I'm going to leave the screen protector on, just so we have something to differentiate this one from the other one. Well, the other one's taken apart, so. And I wonder if you can just swap the SD card, because the manual does say something about the Wi-Fi access information getting deleted off of the SD card as you connect the first time. But I'm just going to try, and I'm going to see whether it's still on there. Otherwise, we will need to fill out that config file again. So basically, yeah, over here. Basically, this is just out of the box. Pop the SD card in. Let's see if we get a connection message on here. Wait, connect Wi-Fi. Okay, this is taking longer. Okay, so it did delete the connection information, which is intended. I mean, that's, I guess, a safety feature that they built in, so that when somebody yoinks your node, they don't get full access to the Wi-Fi because they're going to have the access information. So I'm just going to fill that out again real quick while you get to watch my fingers while I carefully type out my information here. So, okay, it completely deleted the config file. That's interesting. So there's nothing left here. Let's go to the copy again, and well, I guess we still have that downloaded. So same thing, copy that over here, and I'm just going to fill out these two. And device name, we're going to keep at node 1. I'm going to change it to node 2. Of course, it's going to get a different IP, but it's also going to get a different host name just to make sure we're not confusing the router or anything. That can happen if you have two different devices with the same host name sometimes. I don't know. I'm running OpenWRT devices, so they should be pretty robust, I think, but you never know. You really never know. And then this is going to be Yeah, I think that is correct. And then same thing as before. Ejected, good. And we're gonna. I still wish that would be such a nice feature of a card reader where like you push eject in Windows, it physically ejects the card out of the reader. I know I've said this before, but that would be so nice. Instead of like a pneumatic ejector. Okay, SD card is in, which means it should now pull that config file in. And hey, we are connected. We have IP 128. So same thing as before, so not on 171, but on 128. There it is. And of course, we don't have anything connected to the node yet, so the printer is not connected. Like the old, like the slot in DVD drives, exactly. So, okay, we're not connected to the printer. I'm going to connect this step by step. So I'm going to go with the USB cable first. USB cable first, and this should allow us to get temperature readings and stuff. Disconnected the Fiberpunk, plugged in the USB, reconnected it to power. So this should be connected to the prusa at this point. So connecting to Wi-Fi, and we're back in the printer. Oh, printer display flashed. Promising, okay. Let's give this a refresh. No temperatures yet. It is not homing. What does get printer do? Yeah, it is not connecting. Let's see whether we can find something about baud rates in the API. Baud. There is no baud rate here to be seen. 105, 200. Oh. It will say connected on the OLED screen. Okay. So we are not getting connected, we're just getting the Wi-Fi status info. So name, node 2, we get the IP, and we get Wi-Fi ready. Now, one last try with everything else connected. So just in case you're not supposed to plug this in while stuff is powered up, everything's powered off. Micro SD goes into the printer. There we go. And now, power you up. We power you up. Maybe I should have powered up the printer first. I don't know. Okay. And one last try, power cycle the node while the printer is on. The Prusa's LCD screen just went blank, which is more than what was happening before. So, promising, but I think it is still no bueno. Okay, I think it's time to give up on the Prusa and to move on to the Ender and to try that instead. I don't know what's up here. Yeah, now we're with the SD card plugged into the Prusa. That's what I'm getting. Just the, I don't know if it's something on the ESP. Oh, now it's loading. Looks like it's, yeah. Yeah. This is not connecting. And we also don't get the line that says connected. So, Raspberry Pi port enabled? Oh, nah. The thing is, I know this printer can connect through USB because it was literally connected through USB the last time I used it. So, that is unfortunate. I know the printer is not the problem. Like I said, last time I used it was exactly with that setup. So I'm going to switch over to, that's my SD card, isn't it? I'm going to switch over to the, let's unmix these up. That is an Ender. That is a Prusa. I'm going to switch over to the Ender. And I'm going to, put the Prusa on the back burner for now. So, this one still has the sand tanners attached. And it's an overall bit of a rough shape, but it's functional. These Enders are surprisingly robust. So of course the Ender has its ports on the front here. So that is the micro SD where you can plug in the adapter from the node. And that is the micro USB, where we can use the original supplied cable from one of the nodes. But again, we're going to have to do the SD card setup, and I just yeeted the SD card into this box along with the node. I also do have another Prusa at home, which I can grab at some point and try with that and just see whether that one works better. And it does have an older firmware on it, so maybe that's something that has changed. But yeah, I'm basically doing the exact same thing again. I should, you know what I should do is I should just not edit this one, but edit this one that I downloaded. So I'm not gonna have to re-enter my Wi-Fi details every time. I'm still not gonna show you my Wi-Fi details. And then, at least I now know the password for the secondary network. I used to have to look that up, but not anymore. Okay, ejected. And that is a prusa. I kind of want to take this one apart too, but we can take apart the other Ender 3 model that we have. So do you insert upside down or, yeah, now you insert upside down. Okay, it feels like the lock doesn't work because you can still pull it out once it is clicked in. There is a little latch in here, but I guess it doesn't. It either, well, probably the Ender doesn't have a lock there. That's just what I'm thinking. I don't even know if I've ever seen that. So micro USB into the printer. Then, oh, that is tight-ish. Okay, it's not unreasonably tight. And then we need power for the machine. There we go. Power goes in the back. So what's the order of operation here? Power up the printer, power up the node. I guess that sounds logical to me. So printer power first. Ah, that fan. That's the Creality fan. Okay, and then we got the SD card in. We have the micro SD connected. Let's see if this one finally gives us the functionality we're looking for. You can see that the printer screen in the back there. Hey, printer connected. Okay. So that works. The Ender surprisingly does not have any indication on the screen itself whether it's connected through serial or not. Didn't flash, it didn't stutter, didn't do anything, but this one says printer connected. We now have IP address 177 and hostname is node 3, so this one works. So I'm guessing it's something in the firmware for the prusa version that just is unfinished. I don't know. What was the IP address? 177 or node 3. Okay, stuff's happening. Stuff's happening. Okay, so that looks, whoop. Okay. Temperature 24.37, that matches up here. Hotbed, and that looks like we have a connection. Nice. Nice, okay. Could have been so easy. It's just, I guess something with the prusa setup isn't quite there yet, so let's try the remote control. Does this thing need offsetting? Yeah, no, it should be fine. Just thinking, like, if I click home, does the printer destroy itself? But I don't think it will. So let's try that. Home all. It works. Okay, Fiberpunk's explanation for the prusa issues is the jumper that I complained about not being there, or that I noticed not being there. This guy right here. So printer's homing, and that is happening through Fiberpunk. There we go. And this jumper right here, that guy. I guess there should be like a bridge soldered in or something. Fiberpunk is saying, hey, these were rush samples. If we get the Ender printing, maybe we can try just soldering in a bridge right there, and we can try it again. And if that is all it was, then no big deal. Like I said, these are fairly early still. Stuff like that can happen. Okay, so homing worked. Printer connected. Still all green. let's see what our web interface is doing. So we get constant temperature updates. There's no temperature graph. I don't know if the ESP is like powerful enough for that. Hey, Fiberpunk, wait with the replacements. I'm just gonna see if I can just solder in the bridge with these. If that's really all it is, then I don't need more of these. I've got plenty. Yeah, no temperature graph on here. Maybe that's gonna get added at some point. And theoretically, I guess, update file list. So that's the files that would be stored on. Hold on. How does this actually work? This is intriguing. So at the start of the stream, I said, hey, we're emulating an SD card in here, but honestly, I don't think we're emulating anything at all. I think we're just grabbing control of like the physical SD card we put in there when we upload stuff. And at that point, the node says, hey, this is my SD card now, and I'm going to write files to it. And then once we want to print something off of that, the node gives that SD card back to the printer. And basically now this just becomes an extension cord for the physical SD card in here. Is that how it works? Because that would be very nice and actually pretty smart, because then you don't need to like emulate any SD protocols or do janky stuff there. You just physically connect the SD card to the printer. That sounds like it's that. I mean, yeah, that sounds pretty simple. Yeah, so there's nothing. There's nothing that is being stored on the ESP itself. Of course, that's why you need to add the SD card, because like G-code is a bit too, well, I guess you could store simple stuff on the ESP's RAM, not RAM, flash itself. Prusa does it with the Mark III's calibration G-codes, like the squiggly thing that is, I guess, generated at least by whatever is stored on the board. But yeah, real print files are living on the G-code. It's not emulating, it's shared. Okay, so it is doing exactly that. It is grabbing the SD card from the printer and saying, hey, this is mine now. And then once the node has written whatever G-code files you want to write to the SD card, it just gives it back to the printer. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. So let's see, let's try and do this all through the node here without touching the printer's screen. So I'm going to preheat my hot end because I do need to load some filament. Right now there's no filament loaded up in this printer. Oh, we actually need to enter something. These are okay, these are just suggestions, I guess. Come on, give me temperature. There we go, okay. So, yeah, that's something that probably needs to be changed, because if I hit set now, it sets it to 0. We're preheating to 195. Filament swap on the ender should be pretty straightforward, I guess. Unless we have, oh yeah, we have some filament left in here, but we can just pull that out. And it looks like the hot head. I guess typically this would be called hot end, but well enough. Looks like it is heating up. What do we use? What filaments do I even have? I thought I had another box of stuff somewhere here. Oh, the sun's bright today. Pink. Hot pink. Miss Pink. Measurement. So, not touch the printer's LCD yet. So this needs to come out. And then our new filament can go in. Just get rid of the end here, because these Bowden systems are pretty sensitive to kinked filament. Okay, and I guess I can kind of wind this up just to get it priming. Yeah, that is hot enough to extrude. So the question is can you create your own macros? Because that's one of the really cool, powerful features of Octoprint, that you can create your own macros in this interface and just say, hey, I've got my, let's say, filament loading routine that I want to trigger, and you just have a button here where it's like click and it runs 10 G codes. That would be pretty cool. Doesn't look like there's any feature for that here yet. But I mean, the farm is open source, so maybe at some point that's going to happen. Can we upload files while printing? I don't think that's possible, because at the point when you're printing, the SD card is actually connected physically to the printer. I don't think that the SD card can do two connections at once. Because it is a physical handover. Yeah. Does Power Panic still work? I think Power Panic is kind of tricky to make work with USB connections. It does work with some USB hosts, if I remember correctly, but yeah. Honestly, like people are saying in chat, like Power Panic, power outages here in Germany, not really a thing. The last one was 2 years ago for like half an hour, and before that we had like 20 years of just no power outages. So, I mean, it's not something we typically worry about here. It's one of the good things when your country's been bombed to shit and you get to build like a whole new grid. Stuff is relatively modern here. Every building has 3-phase. Like right over there's my fuse box, and it's 3-phase in the studio. It's pretty comfy. So yeah, let's slice something. Let's get this thing printing. We are going to slice. Actually, I think I have the profile set up. Yeah, in the 3v2 generic PLA. There we go. Let's grab, I think I want to print a, where is the current contents? Yeah, one of these LCD knobs. These should be pretty quick. V6 nozzle knob, wow. Let's print one of these cool knobs, because I think we can use that on the ender, yeah. It's going to be pink, but okay. Ducky, yeah, that's not safe for work. Nozzle knob. The thing with these knobs is like, you want something where you can stick your finger in and then just twist it and twirl it, instead of having something that's round like this. Because then you always have to grab it and physically turn your wrist to turn that knob. So like this one you have to grab onto with both hands almost. Oh, wrench knob, there we go. That's perfect. That is perfect. I don't know how well that's going to sit on the shaft here, but that's exactly what I mean. You can just stick your finger in and spin it. That's perfect. Okay, we are going to print that. Wrench knob by Ron Hay. CC public domain, cool. So there we go, pretty small file. Ooh, doesn't print without supports. That's okay, it's a pretty small design. Print with supports activated. And it should complete pretty quickly nonetheless. So let's do supports everywhere. Yeah, whatever. There we go. 13 minutes. Oh, that's quick. I'm gonna have to see whether we can actually, is this? This is still 2.4. I've got 2.5 tried out, and it's really good. I don't know if that's gonna be enough time to try the fix for prusa. So we've got that saved out. Upload. Oh, choose file first. Okay. No, not sheet to box. Knob wrench. There we go. Upload. Upload finish. That was fast. How big was that file? 367 kilobytes. Okay, so that wasn't that bad. Let's try a bigger one. Let's try yeah, this isn't sliced for the correct printer, but it's still going to upload. 12.5 megabytes. Let's see how fast that uploads. So RMS to Sony E-mount adapter. Okay, that takes a while. So of course, at this point, it does have to go through the ESP32. All the files need to go through that. How can I restore messages? Yeah, so it is uploading 2 point something mbits. Not super fast, reasonable. I mean, the thing is you can't upload during printing, so that's going to be a drawback. You're going to have to do all this between prints. Well, so this one is not the right one, but let's just try printing. Let's see how well that works. So I think these are actually the commands where it is grabbing the SD card from the printer, where it's like, hey, we have an SDIO. What are you? We have an SDIO device that we're connecting to, which is the SD card. But yeah, let's just print this. And we see, okay, so the interesting thing is these G codes, I can actually expand this. These are not G codes at all. These are just info. So file opened, file selected, and everything else is happening inside the printer now. The node, I guess at this point I could physically unplug the node from the printer and it would, well, through USB, not the SD card, and it would continue. The printer would continue printing. It's like I said, it is the printer handling all this. Why are you, there we go, focusing. So we're preheating to 210, we're at 189, and if we check the interface here, heat bed is heated 197 at this point. Your heating, it's the exact same messages that you see in every Marlin-based device. You've got your power, you've got your W, which is going to turn to 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. when it reaches the temperature and just waits, or 9, 8 counts down. Yeah, this is basically a serial console, but we're not sending any G-code through that console. It's pretty cool. Fabio Mim, how do you float filament so quickly? Experience. You might be a couple minutes back in the stream, but not to worry. You just shove it in. I mean, you look at the extruder, you shove it in, and there you go. It looks to be pretty empty at this point, but let's just refeed. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, we've got even more digital zoom. I didn't find the setting for noise reduction in the ZV-1's menus, but yeah, sorry about the noisy image. That's where we get. That looks like it totally prints without supports. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think so. Like, that's not gonna print without supports. The Ender 3 is not that great at overhangs. Sorry to disappoint you there. So, yeah, basically this is just the printer sending updates. Byte 13,410 out of 376, so 376 KB. And the printer is just keeping the node updated about what it's doing, but there's no like I said, there's no data flowing between them. It is literally just the printer reading everything off of the SD card by itself. All right, time to try uploading. Yeah, let's try that. Let's push this. I do like to push these things on stream. So we still have the file. Let's choose a different file. Let's do the sand lid. What happens when we upload during a print? Is there a safeguard implemented that he can't upload while printing? I mean, we've not lost that much printing time. It's uploading. Upload, finish. And the what? Oh, it doesn't look like the print's sticking, but... Oh. Not there. Okay, so it looks like it tried to do both things at once, but didn't actually manage to. Independently of that, I don't think this print looks too hot. I think the nozzle might be just a bit too high. So I'm going to cancel that. Can we cancel the print? So let's see. Can we cancel the print? We can cancel right here. And that basically is the same as if you cancel through the LCD screen, I believe. Maybe not. Maybe not. Interestingly though, so I canceled through the web interface, it doesn't seem to do anything. Interestingly though, this is what the printer looks like. So the printer is like, oh, but I'm not doing anything. I don't know if this was showing a print progress while we were doing printing before I tried to upload something again. So this is not how things are supposed to look like. Upload is locked when printing is running. Yeah, something just went wrong. Something definitely just went wrong. Canceled because the printer was not showing that it was printing anything. It was still printing, and the cancel did not work in the web interface. So, not quite what you're expecting. What is up with this? Ender, are you? Why are you letting me down? Ender, why are you letting me down, man? That's not how you're supposed to print. Come on, we're not loaded all the way. Oh yeah. Oh, that's a lot of air still. Okay. This extruder doesn't look like it was loaded completely. All right, let's try a quick modification of this. And let's go over to the first layer height and do 0.3. Speed, first layer, where's my first layer? There we go, 15, 10. And do a wider extrusion width on the first layer, because this one was not too happy to stick. And then, of course, we're going to need supports. There you go. Was this sort of stuff that wasn't sticking. Okay. Actually, I think I might need to enable a raft, because I don't know if this actually sticks to the bed surface itself. Where was raft? Raft layers. There we go. So that's basically lifting the part. There we go. That's much more stiction. And really, it's not any extra print time. What is the firmware version of this Ender 3 V2? I can check in a second. That's exported. That is the, nope, this is the newer one. Not there. Oh, did we mess up the SD card? Did we really mess up the SD card? Upload finish. Okay, there we go. That's the old one, that's the new one. Guess if we hit print. Okay. Current file, no file. Ben, 1mm extrusion width is a bit wide. Nah, it's pretty much as wide as I usually do. You know, usually I go like 1.5. No file, huh? Okay, so uploading during printing doesn't look like that was too good of an idea. There might be some safeguards that are still missing from these node units that I have here, but yeah, can we cancel this? I don't think we can cancel this at this point. Not there. Nope. Power cycle. So let's see if that brings it back. Otherwise, we're going to have to grab the SD card and just have a look at what that looks like. I mean, we might just need to format it again. Upload finish, not there. Nope, okay. So let's see what happens to this SD card. I'm grabbing the SD card out of the node and putting it into this machine right here. So eprom.dat, okay, so that's the enders file, I guess. And then basically, yeah, from the upload, all we get is a G-code file that is that exact. Can I open this with Notepad? Ooh. Yeah, that really is just the exact same G-code that we uploaded, or that we have on the desktop at this point. So I'm going to format this real quick and just make sure there's nothing fishy going on here. Okay, and theoretically I should be able to just shove this right back into the node. You go in there. There's, let's check the firmware version first, as requested by Fiberpunk. Oh, I can actually just grab this thing and pull it up a bit. So that should be in here, maybe? 1.0.2. That is what the firmware is that's running on this guy. I don't think I've ever updated anything on here. There you go. But yeah, that is the firmware. Plug in again. And you should connect. Checking SD card. Yeah. So it accepted our format. Printer connected. Okay. So let's check the web interface. Give this a refresh. Okay, choose file. We're going to choose this guy, upload. So we've got a fresh SD card, freshly formatted SD card. Not there. What is not there? 2 error messages with not there, and then we get unknown command. If we mount the SD first, then upload, okay, then that works. And then we unmount the SD, and then we print. Okay, so that works. At least it seems like it. Let's check on the printer what that's saying. So that is still not... That is interesting. So the printer is doing its thing over here, but the ender is not showing any sort of status display on the screen, which is a weird... I mean, I would expect it should, because technically it is just printing. It is itself printing. It is itself handling the job of streaming files from the SD card. So for the printer, this should be the same as if I, just went in here and said print and print something off the SD card. In fact, I could still select this. I'm not gonna, but I could. So I think that is really just a bug in the Creality firmware. Does it show when you start from the display? It does not show on the Creality's screen here. So that's, yeah. That's more of a bug with the Creality firmware. And that would be the same with any host. So if you used, for example, Octoprint, and used the SD upload feature in Octoprint and then printed from the SD card there, we'll do the same thing. For N3v2, Marlin firmware 2 Plus is more compatible. So basically, yeah, dump the original modified Marlin firmware and use the community open source. Well, I guess this one should be open source too. But use official Marlin, which usually is the better choice. Okay. Yeah, Daniel, that makes sense. The screen doesn't know anything about what the firmware is doing, because the screen is its own enclosed system and is also sort of remote controlling the printer. Okay. Makes sense. You are oozing a lot. I don't know, is this PLA wet? Yeah, you know what's happening? Why it's looking so under-extruded? If you have a look around here, there's something that maybe you can see that maybe is kind of hard to see. But yeah, that extruder is not turning. That extruder is completely standing still, which is why the first layer looked so under-extruded. So, sorry about the camera blanking there. But for some reason, the Ender's firmware does not enable the extruder when it's being told from SD card to print from SD card. Wow. Ender. Creality. What is going on there? You know what? I'm going to take a quick bathroom break, and I'm going to let you figure out what we're going to do next here. Okay, have you guys decided on what we're gonna do? Update in 3v2 firmware, oh god. How do I update the firmware? I don't think I've updated the end of 3v2's firmware. Yeah, I don't think I want to get into that right now. Honestly, I would rather try and fix the prusa board. Okay, goodbye, this isn't an airport, you don't need to announce your departure. Wrong mic still, sure. Let's just switch, that should be better. There is a connector not plugged in on the left of the printer. Oh. Okay. Okay. Wow. Yeah, that would be a reason why the extruder is not running. Oh god. Okay, I guess I yoinked that. Okay. Let's see. So this one's labeled E. I don't know if that's important. I don't know if this little 4-pin plug labeled E is important to run the extruder. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Question, would the Prusa's TMC drivers notice if there's a stepper unplugged? Is that something that they do? Because with the stall detection and stuff, I think it should notice that it doesn't work. This one also has TMC drivers, but I don't think it's doing anything special. It's just using it for silence. Okay. Yeah, I guess when moving this thing around, this just got unplugged. But okay, maybe we can have a little teachable learnings episode here. Why this bad? Look, okay, so this is like the wire harness on the ender, and this has always been a problem with Creality machines. Like, look, it's wires. There's nothing secured anywhere. There's no zip ties, no nothing. So if I just yoink on this, look at that. Yeah, gets unplugged. There is no strain relief on this printer. Like I know I'm trying to play this off as like, hey, this isn't my fault, but literally this isn't my fault. This is like mediocre design that we've seen from day one on the Creality machines, and this is already falling out again, right? This needs to be better. Creality. All right. Let's try again. Square one. Fiberpunk, I'm seeing your messages for the firmware update, but I've not updated firmware on this printer yet. I don't know how to do it on this machine. I don't know if you can just do it through USB or something, but I would rather not get into that and try to make a third-party firmware work right now. I would rather just get this working as is, because I don't think we are that far off. I think the upload while printing thing, that might be fixable with firmware, but we have it running. We have it running right now. So, right, printer on. Node on. And this should connect. Connect Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi ready. And printer connected. Okay. So, okay, we are connecting. So let's see. The file should still be on the SD card. Right? It's still on the card. Didn't go anywhere. So if we go mount SD, upload file list, there it is, unmount SD, and then we can print it. That looks plausible. And while we do that, I'm going to clear off whatever mess this is on the, oh, can't see that, sorry, on the bed surface. This is still sticking pretty well. So let me grab a scraper thingy somewhere. That has some drywall mud on it, but good enough for this. Okay. Yeah, print will automatically unmount and on print completion it should remount the node. I know. It just making sure that everything is as expected, because it was doing some weird stuff just a minute ago, and I don't know if that was me just clicking through stuff, or whether, you know, it's these sort of features not implemented in the node yet. Okay, it's done by dropping a bin file on the SD card and rebooting the printer. Super easy. Okay. At least for mainboard firmware. I can try that at some point. Honestly, I would rather try because this should be working. This is heating up right now. This is just getting hot, and it's just waiting to stabilize right now. 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it's going to start printing. There we go. So this is working. This is working as is. I'm confident. So prime line should lay down nice and thick if you actually push it in a bit more. And I can see the extruder turning. That is good news. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That is what a print should look like. Animation Creation is asking, does the SD pass through when the node isn't powered? That is a good question. Something I can find out, but I would rather, honestly, right now I just want to get a successful print off of it. We've had so many unsuccessful ones. But I do want to see one complete. I don't know. I would think it's not. I would think it's just invisible when the node is powered off. Okay, so what do we do with the Prusa one? We do have the Prusa port open here. Honestly, what I'm going to try is just solder in that bridge that the manual talks about. If I can find some solder, a soldering station. Okay, we do have both of those. A soldering station. Okay, let's get the cable out. And now I just need to find some sort of wire. Okay, Zombie saying only updated the mainboard firmware, never the screen. Okay, but if it's just the mainboard, then I don't think it's actually going to change all too much for us because it's working. Do we have just some cable here? It's a jumper wire with 2-punch connectors. That should do the trick. Don't exactly want to cut that off, but that's all we have. And that's what we're going to use. I hope this is copper. Yeah, God, this printer is loud. For being a silent trinamic drivers and stuff. It does make quite a racket. Just checking if I have any other sort of cable that I could use here, but doesn't look like it. So yeah, let's try the jumper and see if that is actually real copper. Okay. Cancel does not work. 2 bits of cable in a Vibro connector. Well, I can just solder it straight in. Do I have... Oh, that does not look like copper. It looks like illuminated copper-clad aluminum, but worth a shot. Yeah, nah, that's copper-clad aluminum. That's not going to solder, unfortunately. So I just yanked out a bit of cable there, and you can see the silver already shining through where I scraped off a bit of the copper. So flow bead. These are pretty far apart. Don't think that's going to work. Maybe if I just grab, I do have some mains wire. That's always a good idea, right? I can just grab one strand off of this guy. That should be enough. That's printing. That's looking pretty good. I think last time I saw it on stream was with like the smoothie board and stuff, and people were like yelling at me for, oh, you gotta, where did my copper go? People were yelling at me like, you gotta do it differently, you're doing it wrong, and turns out my soldering station was absolute garbage. This time, I've got one that performs a bit better. So I've got the Hako 888T. And that, as we all know, is a very, very nice soldering station. It performs very well, it's just usability is not that great, but for soldering it does work. So let me grab just a bit of solder. And that is the connection we need to bridge right there. So just doing this. And then I'm going to tack in this one strand. Maybe I should hold this with some actual pliers and not flush cutters. Just getting that tinned. I'm way too shaky for this. So that is in there. I'll be done in a second. Sorry that I don't have a better perspective, but I don't think this is like super exciting anyway. Okay. And that is done. Where are we at? There's our connection, and that is a solid bridge between those two pins. Just short the 2 ports. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what a jumper would do. That's exactly what a jumper would do. Okay, so soldering station can go away, and once this is done printing, which should be in not that long. Oh, print is almost there. Do we get a progress info on the web interface? I don't think we do, except for the raw byte X of Y. So this is about halfway done, I guess. Would be nice to have some sort of a progress bar or something just based off of that information. I think would be, better than nothing at least. But yeah, that looks like it's still printing well. And then you can get reassembled. Oh. Yeah, I don't think I need to screw this together, right? So, we need a prusa. There we go. Oh, that's kind of blocking the print. I'm going to move the ender a bit back. There we go. That's not in the way at all, is it? Nah. Well, it's going to collide at some point, but until then, we're not going to worry about it. With the prusa, same thing. So this should still have the config on it. It's not going to have an SD card though. So I wonder if this will connect at all. Though, I guess we can try. It should connect to the printer and allow us to do stuff like home or set temperature, just to see whether it's working at all. So that goes there. Then we need the USB cable for the prusa. That goes there. That plugs in here. Okay. And then no SD, but we connect the... God, there's still... okay, it's from the ender. Okay, the ender is still oozing sand. That goes in here, and then theoretically... let's turn on... Let's power the printer first, just to make sure we're not... It's not trying to connect while there's nothing to connect to. Though it might actually power the prusa's mainboard. So the prusa might run, but it's just not going to have the motors or heaters available. There's that. Okay, prusa is powered up. USB is plugged in, no SD card in here, but let's just see. Let's plug it in. Check an SD card. Okay, that's one of the first things it does. Okay, so we do need an SD card to boot up the... Oh, I guess not. Wi-Fi ready, and the printer is resetting, which means it's connecting through serial. Wi-Fi ready? Come on, tell me you're connected. Tell me you're connected. You can do it. 171. Let's double check. 171. Doing something? Crash detection Oh, yeah. It's doing it. SD in it failed, yeah, but it is connecting. You are getting temperatures. And we should be able to do stuff like home. Yeah, it's doing it. Okay, it was just that jumper that wasn't installed. Is there stuff hanging off? Nah. Okay. It's working. It's working. Even without an SD card, you can connect. But of course, you're not going to be able to print anything because it does rely on that SD card to be present. Okay. Whew. Please click that printer. Yeah, it's doing it. It's working. All right. So I think that proves that the prusa can work as well if these were correctly shipped. But like I said, early models, these were just a mistake in the rush shipping job. But they can work. All right, all right, all right. So we also have the Sentry cameras, and we have the management software, I guess, that we could try out. By the way, is audio clipping, is that a bit too hot? Just looked like it was pretty loud. Is that one of the early Mark III sheets? It might be. I don't know. It's got spray paint on the other side. That's as much as I can tell you about that. It might be one of your early ones, but it's a pretty cool one. We still have the Sentry and the Nexus host management software kind of thing to try out, but I don't think we're going to try that out. I don't even know if we're going to try that out on stream at all, because I don't know if that is really a lot of fun to show. Oh, no. There we go. I don't know if that is even a lot of fun to show at all. So, USB jumper cables, Node and printer, remove the 2 screws of the Mark III frame, which I can't do because this is not going to mount it. Wi-Fi settings, config txt. Ready, firmware version. Changes to prusa's life. So okay, prusa printers always start print G-code file with M115 to check the latest version. Ah, yeah. So disable the update notice. This is basically the same thing as you would do. Reset of prusa when USB is connected. That's still printing. Cool. I did not know you can disable this, but apparently in prusa you can just disable this with C32U2 RMD. Hidden features, developer features, I guess. But yeah, everything else is just the same. But yeah, the hey, new firmware available for your printer. That sucks with any host-based printing, whether it's a Node or an Octoprint, where you try to start a print, and instead of starting to print, the printer is just sitting there, like waiting for you to click the LCD, like, hey, yeah, I know there's a new firmware available. So yeah, that can be disabled. Cool. We're not going to print anything on the prusa. I think we've demonstrated that the connection works, like we've seen. You know, it's this guy is saying printer connected. The printer moves. The connection is there. We get live updates. So this is the one on the prusa. So we get live updates there. That's good. This works. The one in the Inder works as well. So even though this was a bit of a rough start, it really was just, you know, on each of the occasions, there was just one connection that was missing. So on the, unplug. On the prusa, it was the jumper in the Node to power the USB port. On the Ender, it was the literal extruder motor. So that is, come on. That really is not the, I'm going to share this peeling with you. On the Ender, that was not the nodes or the Fiberpunk Node's fault. On the prusa, yeah, but really it's not a huge issue. So oh, was that off frame? Oh, come on. Don't tell me that was off frame. Rafts. Huh. They still print pretty nice. All right, so there is our print. There is our printer, and that is where that print goes. Hope this doesn't have a screw to it. No, it does not. There we go. That's actually a pretty good knob. That works really well. That's exactly how I like to use my LCD knobs, because this is just so much faster than having to grab it and then having to reset your hand. Very nice, very nice. Okay, and I think that demonstrates the Fiberpunk Node. Both of them work, bit of a rough start. So I'm gonna just play around with the interface, see what it does. Nope, not with that interface, but with this interface. And just see what it can do, see what the camera can do. That's gonna be it for today. It is 8:30 p.m. here. Time to head home and to call it a day. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for being here. Thank you to Fiberpunk for walking me through this. And yeah, who was that guy who was like loudly announcing his departure? Don't be that guy. You know what these streams are about. These are about discovering what works, what doesn't work, about what is going to be the typical first impression and first-hand experience of getting something new running. And that's what you come here for. If that's not what you want, then don't watch these streams. If you don't know, I've got a second channel where there's like a more compressed version of all this stuff. If you're into that, then watch that. But if you don't like the live streams, there's no need to come here. But anyways, if you did, can you post a link to the manual? The manual or the quick start guide is actually linked from the Node website. So it's actually right there. Node quick start guide. That is exactly what I was working through. Except for the prusa one, that should be in chat from Fiberpunk. It's on the. Actually, yeah, I can post it in chat, so that's something I can do real quick right after I end the stream. So keep your eyes open in chat for the prusa instructions that have all the stuff with the reset or disable USB reset on connect. Yeah, and Fiberpunk already posted it. All right, thank you all for being here. Have a great Tuesday. It's Tuesday, I think. Anyway, bye-bye.